missing 2 and 4.
Okay, I've got 2 apiece of these, so.
Okay. You got 2 minutes, brother. That's good to know. waiters and bartenders, everybody, stand on up and sing with us.
I am celebrating all that I am, all that I have. I am celebrating all I am becoming today. I am celebrating all that I am, all that I have. I am celebrating all I am becoming today. You are celebrating all that you are, all that you have. You are celebrating all you are becoming today. You are celebrating all that you are, all that you have. You are celebrating all you are becoming today. We are celebrating all that we are, all that we have. We are celebrating all we are becoming today.
Put your hands together, folks.
We are celebrating all that we are, all that we have. We are celebrating all we are becoming today. All we are becoming today. All we are becoming
Woo! I tell you what, after an intro like that, I feel like saying our special music today is Billie Holiday and Etta James. Which would be lovely.
And we thank you.
Yes. Look at that. Is that the 8? Oh my gosh, look at those folks up there. Our special music today, however, is Michael Elley, and that's just as good. Before I forget the other things that I need to tell you, let me tell you two things. First, welcome. It's great to have you here at Unity of Music City, a place of authentic transformation, and it's so much better when we do it together. Number two, and I got to get this right if I can. Next week there's a time change. And I don't know how to do this because my phone does it for me. Let's just be honest. You fall back next week, right? Next Sunday. So I don't know if you'll be an hour late or an hour early. I cannot figure that out. But just set your alarm on your phone like I do, and you don't have to worry about it. Next week, that's coming up. I've got a few quick announcements for you. Friday, November 2nd, that's this Friday, Saturday, and I believe all day Saturday. Friday night and all day Saturday, excuse me. Intermediate Shamanism with Janice Mickle, working with nature spirits, plants, stones, trees, spirits of the land, divas, fairies, and little people. And you as well, if you would like to come. So there'll be a drumming and journeying circle on November 16th. Everyone is invited to that, and I'll be talking about that more next week, but everyone is invited to come out for that drumming and journeying circle on November 16th. This Saturday, November 3rd, we've got a Love the Land Day. Where is Carolyn? There she is, right there. Carolyn loves the land more than everyone, all of us put together. So, but we need to come out and help her out on that day, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Here's a way we show love for our church. You know, Denise often talks about giving of our time, treasures, and talents. And this is a way to give to at least 2 of those. You can also leave money while you're here, and it would be like a hat trick. It'd be like a hat trick. Come on out. Lunch will be served this Saturday. Sunday, November 4th, Becky's got Reiki and Restorative Yoga at 4 p.m. So talk to her, if there she is, right back there, if you would like some more information about that. And then coming up on Friday, November 9th, that's a week from this Friday, we have our next Reiki clinic. Those have been very successful. Put that on your calendar for November 9th. Energy healing practitioners available on a love offering basis from 7 to 9, November 9th. And now, I've got so many things over here, I got to make sure I get them all correct here. It's a fantastic day today. It's one of my favorite Sundays because it is time for new member induction. So I'm going to ask Reverend D and Russ and Margie to come forward and take it from here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As they said, it is a very special day. We try to have as many of these days of the year as we can. We just need more people to induct and welcome into membership in the church. This morning, though, we have 8 people. To welcome and formally induct into membership in our church. So as I call your name, I'd like you to come forward and receive official welcome. And Julian King. Arnie Lewis. Elley Williams. Kimberly Neal. Tom Neal. Jennifer Pippin. Valerie White. Jane Schooley. Schooley or Shuley. And we have one more official membership to give out. Tom Willett, who joined the church with our last induction. He was unable to make the actual induction ceremony, so Tom, you'll come up. Again, our very warmest welcome and congratulations to our new members. And they will be for an induction ceremony and luncheon afterwards in the Namaste Cafe. Hope you're all able to join us there for a little social and get acquainted session.
So we're going to do what we usually do. Isn't this exciting? Look at all these people. Stand up. We're going to give them our infinite unity blessing, and then we're going to sing to them and make them very uncomfortable while we're singing to them. Because I've been told that that makes people uncomfortable sometimes. So just send beam love. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. We're beaming love this way, so just accept it.
Home is where the heart is, where peace and love abide, a place for all seasons that beckons us inside. This fellowship of believers is a home and family, a source of light that shines so bright just for you and me. Welcome home to this family, created by love and choice. It doesn't matter where you've been, in your coming we rejoice. We behold the Christ in you, with arms stretched open wide. Welcome home to this family. Welcome home. Welcome home to this family. Welcome home.
Then join me in welcoming them as they make their way back to their seats.
Just stay standing because we're getting ready to sing again, but I want you to know that at least 6 of those people on the stage joined the church because the women's bathroom has been painted. And I believe Julia Robinson Smith is most responsible for that. Cynthia, did you help her out? Okay, good. Julia and Cynthia, it looks beautiful in there. Stand on up, let's sing together.
We are love, joy and peace. Everything else we release. We are love, joy and peace. This is our gift to the world. We are love, joy and peace. Everything else we release. We are love, joy and peace. This is our gift to the world. We are love, joy and peace. Everything else we release. We are love, joy and peace. This is our gift to the world. We are love, joy and peace. Everything else we release. We are love, joy and peace. This is our gift to the world. We are love. We are joy. We are peace. Everything else we release. We are love. We are joy. We are peace. This is our gift to the world. We are love, joy and peace. Everything else gift to the world. We are love, joy, and peace. Everything else we release. We are love, joy, and peace. This is our gift to the world. This is our gift to the world. This is our gift to the world. Love, joy, and peace.
Woo! Y'all sounded like you meant it today. That was fantastic. Got a few more quick announcements for you. This is really important. It's almost November. I don't know if you've realized that or not, besides the fact that I saw folks in Halloween costumes back there. It's almost November, and what that means is it's almost Thanksgiving, and what that means is that the service that we support over at Dotson Chapel United Methodist Church, their food pantry, is gearing back up to help some families have a great Thanksgiving dinner. So we've taken on specific tasks for that. We want to fill 40 boxes. We want to feed 40 families, and our role is collecting family-size green beans, corn, and cranberry sauce. GCC. Just remember that when you go to the grocery store. Family-size biggins of green beans, corn, and cranberry sauce. And if we could start bringing those in and filling those boxes, that would be a fantastic thing. We've got Lunch Bunch this Wednesday, of course, at 11:30. Still working with the book, Creating a World That Works for All by Sharif Abdullah. And then Wednesday night class, Nonviolent Communication, which has been a fantastic class. People have asked, there's a special note here, class will be held the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So the class will continue on. But this week for certain, and I assume on Halloween, I think you should come dressed up as your favorite purveyor of peace. But we can't have 22 Gandhis in there, so check with everybody else, okay? This Wednesday night, we will be having class. A, B, C. Those are my things. So we want to take a special moment this morning. Yesterday, as you may have seen, there was a gunman that entered a synagogue in Pittsburgh. May we never grow immune to what these events mean. And Reverend Denise is going to lead us in a special prayer about that.
So I'm just asking that you join me in prayer. And to know that I am going to be reading this prayer because it's a Unity minister friend of mine, Reverend Kelly Azola. And she has created a most beautiful prayer for the Kansas City area to use. And I am using hers, but I just ask you to join me in prayer. We come together in a prayer to acknowledge the source of all comfort in suffering, who forever summons our human community to justice, peace, and forgiveness. While we may stand today in the shadow of ignorance and violence, finding our way through hatred, fear, and blind rage, we know that we are not alone, living, loving Spirit. We extend our loving compassion to all life throughout the world, so that the memory of those lost may be a blessing to us forever. Almighty love, you call upon us to love one another and to bring mercy to those burdened with sorrow and grief. You have created us to come together in community, diverse community, according to your will, so that we can only together be whole and one. Do not let our anger divide us now from one another, or turn us aside from our abiding purpose. Rather, let every heart be filled with a bright reflection of your everlasting love. Let every heart that lifts this prayer to you today, by whatever name it calls upon you, be filled with divine peace. As we pray this prayer, make these words your own in word, in spirit, and deed. And know that Unity of Music City honors you in this moment. Your presence here today is a blessing. Your commitment to peace is inspiring. From this moment forward, we carry our intention to know and be known, and to find peace within, so that we might create peace without. And so it is. Amen and amen.
So, what would it be like to begin to have simple conversations with others about peace? What if we discussed what it would take to restore hope for the future within my mind, within your mind, within our collective minds? Here lies the peace of God. So the affirmation, this day I choose to explore the creation of peace. Together, this day I choose to explore the creation of peace. There is nothing more powerful than a community discovering what it cares about. What would we love? What brings us joy? What would create more peace? In this now moment, I am becoming brave enough to start a conversation that matters. I talk to people I know, and I talk to people I don't know. I talk to people I've never talked to before. I am intrigued by the differences I hear. I expect to be surprised. I treasure curiosity more than certainty. I invite everybody who is curious to be a part of the conversation, acknowledging that everyone is an expert about something, and that creative solutions will come from conversations and connections. I trust that meaningful conversations can change my world, our world, and this day, I choose to explore with myself, with you, and with others what could create more peace. What could create more peace?
And so I asked you to begin with a reset breath. And as you begin breathing in, do so with ease and grace. This day, I choose to explore the creation of peace. And so as your mind swims in that thought, do another exhale. And as you inhale this time, begin to let your breath balance itself. This day, October 28th, 2018, I choose to explore the creation of peace. And I choose to do that in this moment inside my own heart. Because there is nothing more powerful in this moment than me creating peace within my own beingness. And so as we focus on our heart space, and if you have not already done that, drop those 18 inches to your heart. And allow the light and love that is God to connect with you there. And from that point of life and love and heart within the mind of God, let that love and light stream through your body, through the portal of your heart. And from that point of love, that comes from the very heart of God. I now bring to mind someone that I know desperately needs that love. And I beam that love to them now, from my heart to theirs. Because this day, I choose to explore the creation of peace. And it starts within me, and I begin to share it with another. In the silence. In the silence. This day, in this now moment, I choose to explore the creation of peace, knowing that there may be moments in the future where peace seems elusive to me. And in those moments, I remember to be still and let God love me.
I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to relax, let God take over. I need to relax, let God take over. He'll take this load off of my shoulders. I need to relax and let God take over.
When there's rumble all around me and my soul cries out for rest, then I feel and I've been faithful even though I've done my best. When decisions get so heavy and there's answers that I need, it's time to just be still. Let God love me.
I need to be still, let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. Need to be still, let let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me.
This song that I'm going to be singing this morning, I wrote 32 years ago, and never did I think that the words would be as poignant as they are today. Thank you.
I was 4 years old 36 years ago, by the way, Michael.
I love her. I do. Okay.
If there's silence, I'm going in.
Let me be the peace I want to feel in others. Let me be the light that shines upon my way. Let me be the hand of brotherhood and friendship. Let me be the truth in every word I say. Let me be the chain that holds no man in bondage. Let me be the cause that joins humanity. Let me be the voice that speaks for truth and justice. Let me be the word that sets all people free. Let me be the mind that flies on wings of wisdom. Let me be the soul that knows eternity. Let me be the heart that loves without condition. Let me be all that I know that I can be. Let me be the eyes that focus on the future. Let me be the vision that I dare to dream. Let me be here reflecting my reflection. Let me be the light of the world.
So I love it when Spirit just works. It always does, but sometimes we don't pay attention. But this Sunday service was all supposed to be about peace anyway, because it's our third calling for the circle. And so, you know, God's always got this. Holy Spirit's always got this. The universe has always got this. Whatever you want to call it, it's always got it. We just had to pay attention and wake up and step forward and do what we're called to do. We are calling a circle. Quite interestingly, I posted out on one of the New Thought Facebook posts because I put our information out on our site and I put it on the New Thought of Nashville and I put it on the New Thought Movement and the New Thought Movement worldwide. Well, on one of those New Thought Movement something or other, somebody came back at me this morning, isn't that interesting? And said, I don't believe Edgar Casey ever talked about calling the circle. Are you all witches? Well, I guess if we need to be, we can be. I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Only before my coffee.
Only before coffee in the morning am I a witch, yes. But then I just kind of posted a picture of Nashville Chooses Peace with the circle with all the people in it. But I thought, you know, people are interesting, are they not? It's like, he took that we were doing some incantation here this morning, and it was like, what is, and we might, yes, who knows? But it's like, wow, interesting how we all perceive each other. So I think what B read this morning is very timely. Can you be curious instead of judgmental? You know, we are doing a Wednesday night class on nonviolent communication, and the first step in the dance is for you to look at your own judgments and blame of other people. And you can't move forward in the dance until you deal with that. And can you observe what's going on without judging or blaming? You ever tried to do that? Just turn on CNN or Fox News or something like that and just give yourself a day to observe without judging or blaming. And then come tell us how it works. Maybe an hour, maybe a minute, maybe 2 seconds, because that's ours to begin to understand. Does that make sense? We're not going to have peace unless we can do that. Unless I can sit with somebody at a table that believes totally different than me and keep my trap shut long enough for them to tell me what they're trying to tell me without trying to defend my position. But that is incessantly hard to do. So we've been calling a circle here. And when you see the ending of my lesson, you will understand the method to my madness of what we're doing. I miss our dear Ken Goins, who used to say that to me all the time. He would say, there's always a method to your madness. And I said, yes, there is. And you will get it once you get to the end of this lesson. But 3 Sundays ago, we started talking about what would I love? What would you love in the world right now? Turn to somebody and share that with them. Because right now is important to know that. What would you love in the world right now to happen? So push the pause button for a minute because I'm going to add another layer to that conversation you're having. So if it's something you would love, it would obviously cause you joy. So add that in. What about what you're saying makes you joyous or happy? Keep going. So push the pause button again. Do you know this? And when I say this, I know what's going to come back because I've said it before. I've even said it to myself. If we all would do what we love and create more joy in our life, the world would be peaceful. Can you hear that? Somebody just went, It's like we get that in here, don't we? So what happens when somebody would love something that you would not love? She's not even looking at me. She's on her phone or something. Oh, okay. It's okay. We had another conversation this weekend, and I said, I cannot be your minister. You have to have your own. I cannot be your minister. You have to have your own. So they can be online. That's a cool thing for you. What is it about us that cannot be in conversation with someone who would not love the same thing we would love? Is that not where it begins? And the separation begins? We sing this on Sunday morning right now. We are love, joy, and peace. Everything else? Yeah, you didn't say it with too much zest. You know why you didn't say it with too much zest? Because we're not doing it. We're holding on to other things other than love and joy and peace. What are we holding on to them for? As I said to Crystal this morning, I left off the bottom part of that so it wouldn't freak everybody out in the church service this morning. And you go tweet out, Miss Denise is pornographically affecting us this morning. I'm calling the circle. Yay, woohoo. Those of you who know anything about Michelangelo, what he says about this sculpture is that he chiseled away everything that was not David. We are love, joy, and peace. Everything else, there you go. It is so very simple, except when it's not. Right? And it's this peace part that gets us all sphinctered up. Anybody else this week had your buttons pushed other than me by anybody out there in the world? Mm-hmm. That man this morning, whoever that was, it said, Ernest Holmes did never call the circle. I wanted to go bite me. But I'm like a Unity minister. I can't show up out on the New Thought website and say, bite me, because then it's like all out there. Denise Shirkin said, bite me, people. We just affirmed that. What does it mean for you to explore the creation of peace? What does that mean to you? Well, I'm going to try to give you some suggestions, some gentle suggestions, about how to begin to explore that. But what I want to tell you, I've been watching, some of the people in this church are watching some Marianne Williamson videos right now, that there is an organization called Commune that has her out there, and they're free videos for a certain period of time. And she is teaching teachers about the Course in Miracles and about the Return to Love book and what all that really, really means. And I heard something that just bonked me in the head, but I've said it before in many, many different ways. You cannot be a shopper at the spiritual Walmart and ever get it. I'm going to say that again, and I just want you to hear me. You cannot be a shopper at the spiritual Walmart and ever get it. What she was saying is, it doesn't matter what path you choose, but choose a path and walk it. That's why those of us that can't find peace can't find it, because, today I want to run over here and do this. And tomorrow I'm going to run over here and do this. And the next day I'm going to run over here and do a little bit of this. And I don't ever get far enough down the path to even know if it's working or not. Does that make sense to you? That's what she was saying. Choose a path and walk it. But we as human beings are like, oh, look what Carolyn's doing. That looks fun. I'm going to go over there and do that. Oh, look, Michael's doing that. Let me run over there and do that. Oh, look, Cynthia and Julia are doing this. Let me run over there and do that. And then at some point in time, I'm all confused. Because Carolyn is doing peace like this right here. And Michael is doing peace like this right here. And Julia and Cynthia are doing it like this. And I don't even know how to do it at all. Does that sound familiar? So how do we fix this? I'm going to give you some basic Course in Miracles. If you don't know anything about Course in Miracles, it's okay. It won't hurt you, I promise. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about it in a minute. But the Course has 3 sections. It has a great big section that is the book, Course in Miracles. It is not the easiest thing in the world to read. I tell people don't do that off the bat. Because I have to, even myself, to read it, turn my brain off and just read it and let it filter into my heart. Because if you try to get intellectual with it, it's like reading Charles Fillmore. You're like, what in the world was that after you read it? So, then there is a student workbook with Course in Miracles. It has a workbook lesson for every day of the week for a whole year. The first half of those workbook lessons are about everything else we release. It's what are the barriers, the blocks to me being love and joy and peace. What are they? So the first half of the year, that's all you're doing, is focusing on that and letting those go. Because the last half of the year, it's all about stepping into who you truly are and remembering that you're a divine child of who? God. Do you know that? I am as God created me. Say that. I am as God created me. How often do we forget that? Every day, all day long. Because God, the essence of the universe, created you to be the expression of love and joy and peace. Not to be the little pissant person over here. You understand that? Do you get that? Yes? Except when we don't, right? And we forget. I am as God created me. That's one of my favorite lessons in the Course in Miracles. I could see peace instead of this. So let me ask you, how do you look at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and see peace right now? There's where our issue is, isn't it? How do I look at something that looks so horrendously horrible and go, there's a pony in there somewhere? Seriously. Because we in Unity believe that there's something greater going on that we don't have any idea about. Now, it's not that we don't say when things like that happen that that is not a wonderful thing. It's horrible for people's lives. It's loss, it's suffering, it's pain. But there's something greater going on that we have no idea about. So I want you to look at something. What is that? Anybody ever seen an airplane on the ground and see it look like that? Well, I'm going to show you the same picture of the airplane differently. What's different? It's in the air, and what else? It's smaller. Is it really smaller? But it looks smaller. What's messed up with your perception? Is it really smaller? When it goes up in the air, the people get littler? What happens when it goes up in the air? Can you hear that you have to look at things differently to see them differently? So everybody breathe, because I just saw somebody go, it's like, I don't know that I can even do this. I don't know that I can either some days. But I know that that's what I'm called to do. If I want to be the peace And if I get pissed off at the man who shot those people in Pittsburgh, I'm doing more harm than good. Can you hear that? That doesn't feel good, because I want to go, what in the world was the matter with you? How in the world could somebody be like that? But I'm going to say something that you may have to push back on. He has the Christ inside him too. But he's got so much other things than love and joy and peace that he's got a lot of chiseling away to do. Lots. Can you breathe into that? Just breathe into that. Because until we create a world like that, we're not going to have any peace. Now, know that I don't have the answers. I'm hoping that I create more questions today than answers for you. So this is what the Course in Miracles looks like. Some of you have seen that book, some of you have not. So in 1972, and I'm trying to look at my notes, Judith and Robert Scutch began the foundation for Inner Peace in New York City. You may not even know there is such a thing. But in the big old city of New York, there is a center there for inner peace. And in the process of that, they met Helen Schucman and Dr. William Thetford, who created the Course in Miracles. And the copyright of the Course in Miracles was given to the Foundation for Inner Peace, so that it could continue to be shared with people. Now, the interesting thing about the Course in Miracles is it's really only about one thing. Choose love instead of fear. Every time. You can read the whole book. You can do the workbook lessons. You can read the teacher's manual, because there's one of those too. And the only thing that really at the bottom, how do we do it? How do we realize when fear is really big and love is way off there and it looks little? That we really can bring it closer to us. What are we afraid of? So Carolyn Bauer had no idea that she planted a seed in my mind Wednesday night. Because as we were having conversations in our circle on Wednesday night, you'll have to come and see what we do. We're not going to tell. The question came up is, what is this talking about the veil? And so I thought I would give a little metaphysical lesson about the veil, because I can promise you that is exactly what's happening in our world today. So when Jesus supposedly was hanging on the cross, and I say supposedly because I was not there, okay? And I don't necessarily take the Bible as a history book, but I take the stories to help me with my own personal life. But when he was hanging on the cross and died, supposedly the moment that he died, the earth shook and all kinds of things happened, and the veil in the temple rent, tore in two. That metaphysically is about separation went away. Because in the Jewish temple, quite interestingly, we're talking about the Jewish temple today. In the Jewish temple in those days, there was places for people to come in and worship, but there was a curtain divider, and the holiest of holies was only a place that the Jewish rabbi could go. Similar to the Catholic religion, that only the priest can do certain things. Jesus, the master teacher, said that's not the way it's supposed to be. All the information of the universe is supposed to be available for everybody. And so supposedly when he died, the earth shook and went, yay, we're going to get rid of the veil. Well, here we are over 2,000 years later, and we still have a big old veil. We do. So breathe. What would it look like in your life if the veil came down? Here's the piece that's scary to people. Number one, in this scripture that she's kind of stuck out there for us, Corinthians, and I will give you, those of you that care, 1 Corinthians 3:16, it says that don't you know that you are the temple? Can you hear that? This was not about something that happened in the Jewish temple, even though supposedly it did. It's not something about the Catholic Church or the Christianity or anything. You are the temple, and the veil is coming down. So what does that mean? Can you see that happening in our world today? Yes. Everywhere. In politics, in religion, everywhere. As I said around the circle in the nonviolent communication the other night, I said, if any of us in this room, and I heard some people go, oh, are hiding anything, it's going to come to the surface really soon. And I just saw some people go, if you have skeletons in your closet, they're going to be out there for everybody to see really soon. Can you feel that right now? Because whether or not you love or dislike or whatever Donald Trump, he has put that energy out there, and the truth is coming to the surface for everybody to see. It's all out there. The veil is renting. So what does that mean for us as people? We have to be in integrity all the time. And when I'm not being integrity, people go, ooh. Can you tell when somebody's in integrity and somebody's not? You can feel it. This is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Does that mean that everybody has to sit in A Course in Miracles class? No. But it means it's what happens in the world. And quite interestingly, it's happening right now in the world we're living in. It's a required course. We have to do this. We may not like it. I didn't like hearing what happened at the Jewish synagogue at all. But this is a required course, and I'm required to be peace, no matter what's going on inside of me. That's a huge, 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 huge undertaking. But do you remember in the very beginning I said you are as God created you? No, you don't remember. You're just staring at me going, you are as God created you. God didn't create you pissed off. God did not create you angry. God did not create you less than anybody or unworthy or separate from anybody else or unlovable. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. You don't get to be in charge of this curriculum. The veil is going to lift, friends, whether you like it or not. It's happening right now. The only way to get away from this is to shoot yourself in the head and exit the planet. Seriously, that's it. You may go, why would a unity minister say such a thing? Because I want you to hear the earnestness of what we're going through as a society, and why it's going to be important for those of you that want to join the circle that is called Unity of Music City to be a part of it, because we are part of the solution, not the problem. Can you hear that? It means only that you can elect what you want to take at any given time. At any given time during the day, I can go, well, I don't want to look at that. Click. But at some point in time, to be an informed citizen, I have to look at it. Can you hear that? We can't have our heads in holes like ostriches. We can't do that. It would be lovely. I can stay very peaceful if I go sit at my river house on the river, those of you that have been there, and just watch the river flow. Because there is nobody there bothering me until Judy shows up with all the dogs, and then it's different. But you get my drift? It's easy there. But drive back into Nashville, I could even feel it driving back from the river. The closer I got to Nashville, the more it was like, argh. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at any given time. What is mine to do in this situation of the veil getting thin? Because the deal is, it's getting thin with me, but it's getting thin with everybody else too. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. Those of us that think we can teach people how to love, we cannot. The only thing we can do is love them. Love them. Love them. Anybody ever tried to teach somebody about love? It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your what? I am as God created me. I am the presence of pure divine love. Say that. I am the presence of pure divine love. I am the presence of pure divine love. That's who you are. And anytime you don't feel that way, pull away. Close this trap. Close it shut. And breathe. Because anything that comes out of my mouth when I don't feel like pure divine love is bullshit. I'm being honest. It just is. Did I say this was going to be easy? I haven't had anybody run out and scream yet. The opposite of love is fear. So the deal is, when I'm feeling something other than love, I'm really just afraid. Even if I say I'm angry, I'm just afraid. Even if I say I'm hurt, I'm afraid. No matter all those other feelings that we've talked about in nonviolent communication, really the bottom line is I'm just afraid. In this moment, I'm afraid that I'm unworthy, that I'm unlovable, that I'm not good enough, all of those things. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Here's when you start going, I said the Course in Miracles is not the easiest thing to understand, but this was the perfect day to do this. The Course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Read this out loud with me. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Herein lies what? The peace of God. Go back to the airplane. What is real? What is real? Love. You are the divine expression of divine love. That can't be threatened. Because when I decide to show up as something other than that, I'm not being the real me. I'm being an imposter. And some days I show up as an imposter for long periods of time. Ask her. And then I go, I could see peace instead of this. Do you see how this works? So you have to have a few little catchphrases to remind yourself that it's all about my choices. Because it is. People in the world are going to act a fool. Can you hear that? People in the world are going to act a fool. People are going to show up and they're going to be mad at you and they're going to piss you off and they're going to hurt your feelings and say the wrong thing. All of that is going to happen. And I could see peace instead of that. I could, yes. Jackie, I love to watch you because you give me a barometer of what's going on in the room because she just went, I could, but I have to choose it. Do I choose to see peace instead of whatever it is that is bringing fear up for me? Because the presence of God and me as the divine loved child of God cannot be threatened. Some of you look like you're not sure you believe that. Because you go, look at Jesus and look what happened to him, right? Look at Gandhi and look what happened to him. Look at Nelson Mandela and look at what happened to him. Yeah, our world does not understand this. So, here's the kicker. On November the 11th, we are having an annual membership meeting. That does not mean if you're not a member, you can't show up. And Susan over the weekend agreed that we will bring potluck and we will all eat together so people will show up to this meeting. Because it's important. We have one once a year. And we're going to be answering those 3 questions. Yes, we're going to have a meeting of sorts, and we're going to have to vote on some things, and we're going to look at some bylaw shifts, and we're going to do all of that, look at the budget, but then we're going to start visioning together. We're going to break up in pods of 3 or 4 people and talk together, what would we love in this community? And write it down. What would bring us more joy in this spiritual community? And write it down. What would bring us more peace right here? And we're going to write it down. And then Denise is going to take it all and I'm going to massage it and put it all together. And I promise you anything that you said will be sent back to everybody because the first Sunday of December, we are having a holiday lunch. And we're going to meet again in here. We're going to say thank you to all the volunteers from this church for this year, and I'm going to share with you what you've said so far. And we're going to have conversations about that. Because do you understand that it's important for us as a spiritual community to do this focus right now more than ever? What would we love to create right here? What would make us happier? What would bring us more joy right here? What would create more peace right here? This day, I choose to explore the creation of peace. Say that with me.
This day, I choose to explore the creation of peace.
Say this part with me also. Remembering our oneness with all creation, we awaken the world to infinite possibilities. Namaste.
Okay, folks, this is your part. All together now. All together now. All together now. All together now. Do we need rehearsal?
The time has come to make our choice.
All together now,
So join us, friends, and raise your voice.
all together now,
Clap your hands and sing along.
all together now,
The world will join us in our song.
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now,
To live,
all together now,
to love,
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now.
We all have a song to sing.
All together now,
The bells of freedom we will ring.
all together now,
A song of peace for you and me.
all together now,
The world in loving harmony.
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now,
To live,
all together now,
to love,
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now.
we used to think the world was flat.
All together now,
But round today is where it's at.
all together now,
Separate states we used to be.
all together now,
Today one world in harmony.
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now,
To live,
all together now,
to love,
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now.
we all have a song to give.
All together now,
We have made the choice to live.
all together now,
Love and joy will never cease.
all together now,
We now choose to live in peace.
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now,
To live,
all together now,
to love,
all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now. Sing a song of joy and peace. All together now,
to live,
all together now, all together now, we'll sing a song of joy and peace. All together now, all together now.
I always know it's a really good talk when the preacher cusses. I use that trick myself, actually, Denise, in school when they're all falling asleep. You just throw out a cuss word, it'll wake them all up, right like that. It's time for us to have the opportunity to give back to our spiritual community through the giving of our tithes and offerings and gifts. If you'll take those gifts in your hand with me and say the offering blessing, please. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me. Please join us on the sacred walk of abundance.
but time is now. Our purpose is clear. Our message of hope can help those in fear. In a world where hearts are broken, the language of love must be spoken. United we stand with one thought in mind. Hands joined together we lift humankind. Singing in one voice, making one choice. We choose peace. We choose peace. We choose peace. With love we stand across this land, and together we choose peace. All together we choose peace. Now and forever we choose peace.
So we open our hands and our hearts and our minds and we bless these tithes and offerings. We know they have been given from that place within us that is divine love, divine peace, divine joy. And we know that those tithes and offerings will flow through this ministry and back out into the world to raise that vibration on our planet. We know that in this moment we are choosing to create more peace, first within ourselves and then allowing it to ripple out into the world, because as we create peace in our world, it comes back to us, heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, for that's the law, and so it is.
And what a perfect day it is to share a happy shalom to you. Shalom is the Jewish word for peace, right? Am I correct? Good. Shalom to all of you. Let's stand and join hands and sing together to close this service.
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. The first stop that we make will be at the synagogue. Tell all the folks at the mosque and the churches too. Please don't this train at the station. 'Cause if you miss it, I'll be sorry, sorry for you. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. Tell all of our brothers who worship Ganesha. Grab all the folks in the circle on your way. I just make up new words every week or so. If you miss this, I'll be sorry, sorry for you. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train.